Hi, I'd like to talk to you about freedom. And rather than just giving you a tip or advice from the world of advanced thinking, I'd like to really convey the power of what I mean by that freedom and how this fascinating subject and the breakthroughs of understanding how our minds work, how they can help you create that personal freedom. Because to me, this is all about freedom. It's about the freedom to be who we are and who we want to be and live the lives we want without all the baggage from the past and without going through life with no idea how our mind and our thinking works. Because if we go through life with no idea of how our mind and our thinking works, we shouldn't be surprised that we end up kind of getting in our own way, hitting obstacles, blocks, sometimes subconscious sabotage. And the reason I'm passionate about this is really very, very personal to me. So when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I was kicking a little football around and I fell over and I knocked out my baby front teeth. And I don't remember it particularly, but from what people told me at the time, I don't know if you've ever not had any front teeth, but when you don't have any front teeth, nobody can understand a word that you're saying. So it made me very shy and withdrawn. Now, I was already shy and withdrawn because by that age, and I had a wonderful upbringing with extraordinary family members, the world's greatest mum, and they're supporting me. So I didn't lack any love or anything like that. But I had a bit of a tough time. I was born with an eye condition that meant I had to have 8 operations by the time I was 4. I went into Great Ormond Street Hospital in London 8 times by the time I was 4. And so as a result of that, so that sort of was a little bit of a, what's the word? I don't like the word traumatic, but it had its impact, shall we say. Then I'll fall over and nobody can hear what I'm saying. So basically I just sort of closed down a bit and I didn't stop communicating totally, but I kind of stopped communicating. And I was sent to speech therapists. And there's still a letter to my mother from the speech therapist and it says, Christopher will have a lifetime of problems communicating. That was the prediction from the well-intentioned therapist. Well, in later years, in my late teens and early 20s, I became an award-winning global radio broadcaster, and now I do events and seminars, and I sometimes speak to 500, 1,000 people. So if anyone's here to tell you that the limits that have been placed on you, either by your circumstances or by other people deciding what kind of life you're going to have, I'm here to tell you, screw all of that. That does not have to be the case. Not only did I learn how to communicate effectively, because communication is a learned skill, it's not something that you are born with, but as a result of, so I had these operations and they were sort of moderately successful but not totally. I grew up until my early 20s. I had no vision whatsoever in this eye. I was blind as a bat. In fact, there's letters there from the doctors saying that all I had was perception of light. And I grew up thinking this just isn't right. I knew there was something I could do about this. And I lived at the time in London, and in London, all the posh top doctors are on a street called Harley Street. I went to 12 Harley Street doctors, and they all told me I was crazy. I told them that I'd started understanding more about how the mind works and how the mind and the body are related. And through advanced thinking, we can start to influence some elements of what's going on here. And they all told me I was crazy. One of them even shouted at me. But you know what was interesting? The other thing I did with these 12 doctors is I'd started working and doing some of this work and removing a lot of the obstacles that were stopping me kind of emotionally even being able to do anything about all of this, because I grew up very shy and quite withdrawn about the whole thing. And I started putting these processes in place. And the third letter I took to the third doctor said, well, he did have perception of light, now he can see a few inches. And the next one said now he can see 8 inches and 10 inches and so on. So to cut a very long story short, by doing a whole array of things, from some of the advanced thinking work, understanding how the subconscious mind works, and also very pure, direct kind of vision and eye exercises, I got some vision back. Now, for most people, it would be perceived as really crappy vision, right? It's mostly just but I can see stuff. And my other eye is like a bionic eye, so I function okay. But none of that would have been possible if I hadn't somehow stumbled on these breakthroughs in understanding how our mind and our thinking work, that allowed me to remove, to do what I said earlier, to get out of my own way, to remove some of the mental obstacles, because I was so kind of screwed up about all this that even if I thought about the whole thing, it was just sort of too horrible. I got rid of all that, I cleared all that up, and then I went to work. So I'm here to sell you something, but it's not something that's going to cost you money. I'm here to sell you an idea, a concept, that it's possible that you, like me, have gone through life with no understanding of how your mind and your thinking works, and that actually perhaps there have been breakthroughs, perhaps there's been an understanding out there in not the miracle answer to everything, but some major breakthroughs in figuring out how you and I function as human beings. It shouldn't be that surprising. It's happened in every other single field. It's happened in medicine. It's happened in biology. It's happened in space travel. Why shouldn't it also be that, oh, okay, 30, 40 years ago, we had no idea how human thinking works, and now we do. So that's the nature I wanted to give you. I just thought I'm sharing these insights with you here on Instagram, that I hope you're finding useful and will continue to find useful in the weeks and months ahead. But I thought I'd tell you the story behind the story, because to me these are not just theories, these are not just ideas. To be able to go from, like, I wouldn't look people in the eye if you'd met me when I was 12 years old, I would not look you in the eye probably. I was so shy. And now I'm doing stuff like this. I went on to be a radio book, and so on and so on and so forth, because I figured out how my mind and my thinking work. And also I learned very early on, part of advanced thinking is beliefs, is what we believe about ourselves and the world, which can feel very, very rigid and very, very set in stone. One of the really liberating parts of the whole thing was to understand how that side of things work and how you can change beliefs and free things up. So that's my sales message to you. So if you're willing to be open to the idea that when you understand how your mind and your thinking works, it can do all sorts of amazing things for you, that probably there's possibly areas where you are kind of getting in your own way in life. We all do it. And this could make a major impact on you, your personal life, your professional life, relationships. It's no wonder people get screwed up in relationships if we have no idea how the other person's mindset and thinking works as well. And also to pass this on to others, you know. Young people should be being taught this in school, and it's starting to happen slowly, but they're really, really not. So I wanted to just share that with you. That's the history, story, or some of the story behind all this, and I'll go into more detail. And also over time, what I want to do, I want to share with you and share with the world some of these processes that I used to achieve these breakthroughs. So if you're not following me yet, please feel free to follow me on here. And please share this video, share this post with anyone you think may find it useful, anyone who's in a stuck place, you know. It's extraordinary what you can achieve in life when we've got access to the right tools, and now fortunately we have. So I'd love it if you'd share this so we can get the message out there. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you soon. To stay connected with the leading edge breakthroughs in advanced thinking technologies, be sure to subscribe, and we'll make sure you get the latest videos as they happen and you don't miss out. So subscribe now. Also feel free to share this. There are probably 2 or 3 people at least in your life who would either really benefit from what you've just watched or would find it really, really interesting. And we're trying to spread the word. So just click share below and let them know, and it'll only take you a second, but you could actually be having a real impact on people's lives. So subscribe below, and I'll see you on the next video.